Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Greetings and blessings to all of you who might show up, hang out, and otherwise listen to this old shamanic hermit down here in South Georgia. And my name is David Null. A little introduction, because this particular video might reach other people other than just my subscribers. And by the way, as of today, I have 103 or 104 subscribers, and I send blessings to every single one of you, whether you subscribe or not. It shows me that at least I have a little bit of something to say, and I appreciate it. I do humbly. Now, somebody asked me the other day, they said, "You've been kind of quiet here recently." And it's like, yeah, well, today is actually, it's Friday morning, and Thursday, the 22nd or whatever of August, not 2018, just as a timestamp. And I'm like, I was told by my higher self from the Astral Projection place and etc. that I needed to be quiet, that I needed to shut everything off, electronic as much as I could. Now, I watched a few movies and this and that, but I mean, in general, my normal, get on the internet and search for things and look for things, look around everything. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, well, I had to take a break. There were things that I wanted to talk about that I was told I needed to just be quiet within my own self, because there might be more to the message before I open my big mouth. And so it's like, as I've stated before, for everyone, is that, and this is being taught by the masters, and the masters say, you know what? If you're talking, you're not listening. So how can you listen to your inner self if you're speaking all the time? And so I found myself that I was like, not necessarily running out of things to say, but it seemed like I was like, wait a minute, did I just cover that? Well, I'm not sure. Well, maybe it's the best thing to do is just step back for a minute and go, hang on, I want to say, I'm trying my best to, what do you call it? Multitask. And Max, hello, I'm saying hi. Okay, I'm trying to do this. It's interesting. I'm trying different formats and things, but anyway, so, if I look at the chat, I won't be able to say what I really wanted to talk about. So, but anyway, so I take my glasses off so I can't see. Plus, I hate to see the glare. But anyway, where I want to go with this particular video is I do want to stick on the astral projection thing. And there are a lot of people talking about it now. And it's like, I started doing this as a child, and I attributed my dreamlike state and my flying around to having a magic pillow. Oh, it was a wonderful feather pillow. Oh my goodness, do I miss that pillow? But to the point though, in my dream state, and when I was growing up as back in the late 50s, early 60s, oh, yes, I'm that old. And so that in my dream state, I would fly around with my magic pillow. And as long as I had my magic pillow, I could literally go anywhere. And so I did. Well, and what made me believe later on that I was actually not dreaming, but some of these times that I was flying around, I was actually flying around. Okay. So here's my prime example. And it was about 11 or 12. A lot of stuff happened to me around the age of 11. So, which would have been in like 1963 kind of thing, That was when my grandfather died, President Kennedy got shot. I watched Oswald get murdered on television, and, a lot of stuff going on, plus things that happened to me both religiously, psychically, spiritually, astrally, space, a bunch of stuff. Okay, so I'll cut that part short. But anyway, so my parents loved bowling. And so I grew to like it too for over the years, but to the point though that they were in a bowling league at least once a week. And on the weekends, we'd go down to the bowling alley, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, my aunt would come and take and babysit for us because we weren't old enough at that particular time to watch over us at night. So my Aunt Shirley would come and babysit for us kids, which would be her nieces, nephews. And so, and mom and dad would come in about 11:30 when all us kids were supposed to be in bed and quietly sleeping, etc. Well, one night they got home a little later. Well, by this time I had went into my dream state and I went flying with my pillow. Well, what was so interesting was that I'm flying around in the room and I'm having this wonderful time and I can see myself down below and I'm thinking about where I want to go because I have just I'm just now falling into that dream state, sleep state. The door opens up to the bedroom and the light comes on and oh my God, I got caught. So I went up into the corner of the bedroom looking down. And so my bed was here. My brother's bed was, we were foot to foot, if you were, toe to toe, along one wall with a window on this side, okay? And so when they came in, which was the door opposite over here, I hid up in the corner for them not to see me because I felt like I had been caught. So I'm clutching my pillow and I'm thinking, they got to see me up here, right? So my mom walks over and she looks down and she goes, Arnie, my pops, she goes, he's very still. And Pops is like, come on, let him alone. She goes, no, look how still he is. Oh, don't wake him up. Shut the door. Come on, go to bed. And we're literally like 3 feet to their bedroom across the hall from us. So they closed the door and the light went off and everything, And so, but look how still he is. And I was like, oh man, they didn't see me. So I immediately crash. I go back into myself and I sit up in the bed as me. Okay. So I'm like, it's freaked me out. All right. So the next morning I finally get to sleep, blah, blah, blah. And I wake up the next morning and I'm like rubbing my eyes and mom goes, she goes, hey, me and your dad checked in with you last night and you were so still. I even remarked, boy, he's not moving. He's barely breathing. And I'm like, oh, holy crap. Because everything she told me at breakfast the next morning, just a few hours later, was exactly what I heard and saw from my little corner of the bedroom looking down. So that was my first experience with astral projection is real. That would have been about 1963, maybe 64. Okay. So now I have been aware of this for a long, long time. Now, am I an expert at this? I don't even want to go there. I'm going to give you the teachings that I have been given, and I'm going to pass them along. If you find that there's something that is worthwhile to you, I hope that you will consider it and understand that I'll be 66 in about a month, and it's like actually almost a month, really, the 24th of September. So I'm plugging my birthday. Yeah, I'll be 66. Yay, I made it this far. But to the point, though, I've been at this a very long time. So when I speak to you about these things, I'm speaking to you with a lot of wisdom tucked in behind it and a lot of experience. Okay. Now, again, I will say I am not the perfect person. I do make mistakes. There have been things, but I'm going to give you things that will help you if you're interested in doing this safely, comfortably, and that you can experience, control it, expand upon it as you and your energy vibration increases. Now, let's start out something simple. Back in about 1968 or 69, I was very much into psychic energies, and don't ask me why, but, not necessarily magic per se, but I did dabble in magic there for a while and actually did some Houdini style type of, getting out of straitjackets and what to do and how to be tied up or how to be, how to get out of handcuffs easily. And if folks really knew how easy it was to get out of some of these handcuffs, oh my goodness. But anyway, I digress. So I studied with a friend of mine in high school and we dabbled in magic by Houdini and the masters and sleight of hand. So that led me into the paranormal because Houdini went to many psychics and so forth, etc. So I got into this about, well, what about psychic energy? All right, psychic energy leads to, okay, psychic energy means basically astral projection in a lot of ways. Because if you start using your psychic energies, you're going to be tuning in to the astral plane. Okay. Now, one thing that I want to phrase this very calmly, very politely. There are some folks out there who have been doing this recently. And I mean, I've been doing this almost twice as long as they are old. Now, I do not wish to discount what these other people are seeing and feeling and stuff, but I look at some of this and I go, I don't know. I know you want to dabble. I know you're getting into it, but there are certain other steps and things that I'm not hearing you talk about. And what I'm hearing is some, what I call new age hoodoo. All right. Now, not everybody, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm just saying, but it seems like some of these newer folk in this realm, and I want to help to make sure that they understand what they're doing and how they're doing it, and that to make sure that they are safe. Okay. It's not to point a finger and go, your method is wrong, or, you know, what you've experienced is wrong. Ain't even going there. That's not what I'm here about. I wish to share some experiences and techniques that are simple so that you can check yourself, so you can be comfortable. You can do this on your own without being afraid. Okay. That's my intent. But I wish to cover a couple of other things esoterically about the astral plane. Some people are talking about this and they're like, oh, the astral plane is like another dimension. If you hit the right astral plane, you're going to hit a bunch of dimensions that crisscross into the astral plane. Think of a bicycle wheel, spokes, okay? A bunch of spokes. All right. That's just the beginning. So when you astral project, you can see these other dimensions and choose to go visit them, okay? Which is other realms, other universes. Not so many, because right now we're still kind of trapped in this 3D, higher 3D, lower 4D, trying to push into 5. Okay. So, it's much bigger and much, much more than a lot of people are describing that they're seeing. Now, I wish to put some caveats in this, all right? And what I mean by that is this. The Earth has been surrounded by a force field, if you will, for a long time, and very difficult to get out beyond this particular Earth, this 3D realm. And it's been strengthened over the years. It's been, you know, attacked over the years by the good guys, the bad guys. You hear some of us talk about the galactics, and that we are actually in a prison planet. Now, I can categorically state that 45 years ago, it was much easier to reach some of these other realms with just simple meditation, where it is much more difficult now to reach the same places that were so easy before. Now, I realize that personally, I can't speak on for anybody else, I'm speaking for myself only, is that, you know, I've had a lot of head concussions. Okay, so that's disrupted my neurons and pathways. I understand. But there are other things too, and I'm looking, I'm like, well, wait a minute. I used to be able to see it like so easily, so clearly. And it's like now, it's like trying to break through an invisible eggshell to get where you used to be able to go quite freely. It's almost like somebody put a dam up. So when I'm hearing some of these other people discuss about their experiences, and trust me, I think you are there. I think you're understanding, and I want you to understand that it's much bigger than a lot of people may actually realize. And so my caution is that some folks, oh, it's like a dream. No. If it looks like a dream to you, then it may be that you are actually in a dream. It's a, well, I know I was really there. Well, you can really be there in some dreams, okay? But that's the part of this astral plane. There are so many dimensions of the astral plane. So if you're new to this and you go, quote, out there, you're going to experience something that it's like, oh crap, Doctor Strange, and it might be on Hulu. I know it's still on Netflix, and I'm not promoting either one of the platforms, but that's where I know the movie is. And it's Doctor Strange, okay? It's the Marvel thing. It's a couple of years old. Watch it. When he travels out through the dimensions and is speaking with that female entity and discussing all these higher realms and things, that's what it should look like. That's what the experience should be. If you really reach that spot, you're going to see all of these things. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. It's great. And it's the best visual I have ever seen in my 66 years of life. Because in 1970, I saw that exact same visual that is in that movie. It's a wonderful, whoever designed that has been there. That's all I can say about that, okay? In a good way, all right? So if you want to experience what the real astral's like, watch that section in the movie in Doctor Strange where he goes out to the other, I don't know, it's a half hour, 45 minutes. It's a decent ways into the movie. So skip ahead, but that particular section where he goes there and what is seen in the realm of the higher beings, oh my gosh, it's a lot like that. And other people too who have experienced similar experiences of the astral have referred to that movie and said, you know what, that's a really good physical 3D representation of what it would look like through the mind's eye. So now with that said, all right, let's get into some technique. Let's get into some myths and things and my experience and etc. Now, the one biggest, number one, please pay attention. If you are not comfortable with this, don't do it. I repeat, if you're not comfortable with this, don't do it. Because if you start into a realm, there are things right now, because of all this weird energy around the earth, there are beings and things on the higher, the lower fourth dimension, middle fourth, etc. Jinn, you name it, that's where some of the demons are residing. There's some nasty crap out there. That crap wasn't like that back 45 years ago. There's a lot of other things out there, all right? So now, the next thing, number two, you don't have to be afraid. Why? Because if you will just say, I am secure in my being. I'm David No, I'm Joe Schmo, I'm, Quantum Joe, whatever. Whoever you are, male, female, or other, which there are others, but to the point, you must simply say, I understand. I am grounded. I am here. All you have to do is just say a few lines before you go into this. I am secure in myself. I understand that I have the power of the source. I understand I am an angel and I'm just visiting to the other realm. It's very simple things. I know that I will be connected. I understand because of my positive aura that I take with me, all dark beings will be repelled. So all you have to do is put yourself into a positive, I am confident, I can do this, I have the power, I am an angel. So that is your prayer. That is what you do before that's your preparation before you begin. For any newbies, any folks who are new to this, Please understand what I'm saying. Just be in a positive state. Now, there's lots of ways you can get there, and I'm not going to go into them. You can meditate, you can burn candles, light sage. All of that is good stuff. But the biggest thing is what's in your brain, what's in your heart. Okay. Now, number 3 kind of thing, not that there's any number to this, but the next other thing is the realization of what you're doing. Now, your astral body is a projection of your of you, of your soul, of your mind, of however you want to look, of your spirit. Okay, however you want to look at it. And there are different methods. Okay, well, it's like that. Okay, the whole thing is that when you say astral, number 1, what does astral mean? The stars. So you're going to astral project. You're going to project yourself to the stars. That's basically what it means. Projecting yourself to the stars, to the universe, to the cosmos. It's wonderful. Now, understand also that there are many descriptions of this. And I'm not going to go into it, okay? But other than to say that you are attached, connected to the body. Now, where it is there. It's basically sort of like in your solar plexus. It's in here. It's your heart, if you will. Okay, it could be up or down, but it's not really your mind because your soul resides down here inside you. Okay, so but you're going to project from your heart, soul through your mind because that's the antenna out to the universe, to the astral plane. Okay, out yonder. All right. So when you do this, you are connected. You are connected with what some folks call a silver cord, a rope, a string, or whatever. Just understand that as you're doing it, you say, okay, this is my base of operation, if you will. This is my base radio. All right. This is the transmitter. And the spirit or the brain or the soul or whatever you're going to project out there is the receiver, because you want the receiver like a video camera. You want to receive information and send it back to the base station, meaning your body. So if you just keep a basic concept of what's going on in yourself, then you will always be grounded. And then there is no fear. If you have fear going in, it's like the negative entities can smell it. It's like rotting meat to them. And it's like, oh boy, it's like, flies to it anyway. You get my point. So, but if you understand that, if you sage yourself, if you so desire, or use some other method of, a little meditation before you start, okay, fine. That clears your energy so that you don't have that negative smell on you that will attract these other negative entities. I hope that makes sense. Now, next thing. Do you have a purpose for astral projecting? What's your reason? Do you have a motive? Is it to just try it? Okay. Can you do it? Have you done it? What's it like? Okay. All right. Excuse me. Drink of water. Just think about that for a second. All right. I want to check the chat here too, because I'm going into the next phase here, if you will. Let me check chat because now that I've taken a break, I can get back. You could use some raw meat right now. Yep, our hearts are more powerful. Think of what you love and meditate on that and imagine you are out of your body. Max Vision, you've never astral traveled. I bet you have. And I say this is because many of us who have had dreams that were so real I would bet you that there, if you were to analyze some of those, you were actually there at some place. Um, Keely, you say, I'm glad that I said that. The different dimensions of the astral plane. Yes, because there are a lot of people who just think it's like one radio station. No, it's like broadband. There are so, well, it's like the internet. You know, if you go on the internet, there are so many places you can go and look at. Well, that's what the astral plane is like, in my opinion. Thank you, Miss Keeley. I hope that I'm making any some kind of sense about this. Why don't you remember? Okay, here's the deal. There are some times that uh, Raven Spiritual, yes. Here I'm fixing to go into this next part about how you can do it in a way that will hopefully make it easy practice and will give you confidence, security, and all this other kind of, I mean, really good stuff. It really is good stuff. So, okay, here's the part on how to do it. All right. So I've given you my cautions and understanding. Okay. Now understand, I mean, you know, in order to astral project, you have to first say, you know what, if I take these precautions, I'm going to be just fine. That's like the biggie. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. And if you have to meditate on it, just understand it's going to be okay. Now, here's the next thing. I learned this in 1968, and it has not failed me. All right. So I bring this wisdom or whatever to you as I read, learned, studied, and then learned to practice with. Okay. Time. Now, in order to get your brain started on astral projection and understanding this other realm of reality, if you will, because it is, it's the psychic realm, it's the astral, it's a different channel than what we're used to here in the third dimension. All right, so this is the precursor training to get your mind used to doing this. All right, it sounds silly, it sounds stupid, but you gotta learn how to crawl before you can learn to walk. This is a little crawling method, not to put you down or to, this is really, okay, here it is. Not belittling at all. The first trick is to, how do you tell time without a clock? And how accurate can you be telling time without a clock? Now, I say that a little tongue in cheek, but not really, because this is the method that was first taught to me. Do this, practice this, then the astral will become easier. So bear with me. Pick a clock in your house, in your room, in your car, I don't care. Pick a clock, all right? And what you want to do is you want to imprint in your head that clock. So at the time, we didn't have digital clocks back in the 60s and early 70s, so everything was wind up. So I had a favorite wind up clock with the two bells on top, you know, ring and ring. Okay, fine. So it was a great big clock face. So I would say, okay, what time is it? And look at the clock face. Now you go into the other room, do something, whatever it is, and make sure no cheating, no guessing. You say, okay, what time is it? And you simply, if you're at the kitchen, or maybe you go sit down, whatever it is, just close your eyes for a minute. No, not while you're driving, but, you know, close your eyes for a moment and picture the clock and just look at it. Don't try to read it or guess it, but look at the clock. It's very important. There is a difference. And if you practice this technique, you'll realize, whoops, that's what my mind thought it should be versus this is the real time. Okay. And the brain will fool you because it will like keep track. Your subconscious want to go, well, it's been about 10 minutes. Nah, can't go there. All right. Because then you're not actually getting what you're supposed to be doing. Right. So to stay positive with this. So you say, okay, so now Now that we're in the digital age, it's a lot easier to notice what time it is. So I would say pick a digital clock, one that's familiar with you. Maybe it's in your bedroom or whatever. Focus on that. Now, so you look at the clock. Don't try to guess what the time is. It's very important. I'm stressing this over and over again because it is. Don't wait. I started out with a negative. I'm going to detract that. What you need to do is read the clock and stay away from guessing the time. I make sure that I made that in the positive statement. Read the clock and try your best not to guess. Try your best not to guess. It almost rhymes. So now you say, okay, but what does this have to do with it? It has to do with the fact that it is a simple technique that will teach your mind how to go to that place, how to get there. And this simple technique is just, I just want to know what time it is. So, and I would do this on a regular basis. And it became a game to me. It's like, how close can I get? How close can I get? And then I realized, oh, I was trying to guess what the time was. But again, you know, this was a clock face in the old days. Now it's much easier to do this because you can literally glance at the clock and go, it's 12:55. Boom. Actually, it's 1:02. But, you know, I wasn't trying to look for my clock. So anyway, this is an important technique. Now, one of the best ways is to go into, I say, the living room, all right, and use your bedroom clock. Just as an example, you can modify as you need it. Sit in an easy chair, a lounge chair. Don't refrain yourself from putting yourself in a position where you will fall asleep during this. You wish to be comfortable, but not in a situation of falling asleep. You might anyway, but okay. But you wish to be comfortable so that your arms will lay, you know, by your side. Try to keep from crossing your hands or your arms across your body in any way, because it's actually, if you cross your arms or legs or whatever, you're crossing your frequency. Now, there are times when you can meditate with a crystal, both hands or whatever. We're not going there yet, okay? These are simple basics. But try to keep your arms and legs, you know, just to the side of each other without crossing over. It's important. All right. Because you will literally keep your astral body from coming out because you put an X against it, okay? Just saying. So be comfortable, you know, try not to be too high or too drunk or too, you know, try to be in a decent state. Next thing, now that you're comfortable, think of that clock in the bedroom. Now expand upon this. You know where the clock is. Just for, you know, a line of thought. Okay, digital clock beside the bed, and when you walk in the room, you can see it over there beside on the bedstand or whatever. Okay, so now in your comfortable position, you're going to walk in your mind into your bedroom and look at the clock. You're going to go look what time it is. So now you've done your pre-work, and some people are really adept at this. So it might take you a couple of weeks. It might take you only 3 days, because once you realize that you can tap into this, and there are a lot of people who vibration wise are very close. So this simple technique will just enhance what you already know. Okay, it's a cool trick, especially when you're standing around a bunch of people and nobody's looking at the time, and somebody says, I wonder what time it is, and you go, close your eyes for a split second, and you go, it's 2:01, you know, and somebody goes, what? Oh my God, it says 2:02 on my clock. You were only a minute off. How'd you know? Ding, 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 ding. And it's cool in that respect. And then other people are going to want to know, how did you do that? Especially when you're consistent. And so, and all it takes is a little bit of practice. Okay. Now, so the clock is very important, and the time. The next thing is, as you're relaxed, You walk into down the hall, whatever it is, but you physically think yourself in your spirit. You're still comfortable. You get up from your place spiritually, walk across the room, down the hall or whatever, into the bedroom, open the door, and there's the clock in the bedroom, and then look at the clock from the doorway. Or if you can't see the time, then walk around the bed, whatever it is, to go look at the clock. And you say, well, Dave, why is this important? You've already made the clock a focal point up here. Ding. So now you have a reference point. Ding. Okay. Now you're in your own comfortable surroundings. Ding. You're taking care of things. You're in the safety of your home. All you're doing is walking in your head to the other room to see what time it is. Simple, basic lesson. Okay. But it's very, very effective because it gives you the confidence to say, okay, I'm in a comfortable state. I'm in this, I can tell the time more, 80% of the time. I'll be 5 minutes off one way or the other, almost always, when I was doing it on a regular basis. Time means less to me now, but to the point though, when I needed to be somewhere, I was within 5 minutes either way, always, not bragging, just fact, because I practiced this. Okay. So, and there are other things too, but I'm not going to cover them right now. I did cover them in another video about natural magic and being able to see with your fingers, being able to see in the dark through your third eye, just okie dokie. So now that you have started this, you have a focal point. Okay, it's a little silly. It's a clock, but it's not, because in order to read the time off of that clock, you have to project your mind. So that is your first baby steps in astral projection. Please understand that this is like, I'm not trying to criticize somebody's talents, but this is a way to get there and be comfortable and be, all of the things I've already stated without repeating myself some more. Okay. I hope that I'm going to stop here and read the chat. Okay. Because I just want to see what y'all think about this. And if I'm making my point at all, Raven's spiritual journey. It's like digital. No one has explained the astral plane like you did. What you're saying is exactly what I saw. I cannot put into the words the scenes or how vivid the technicolor they were. There are no words. Keely Ray, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but you're absolutely right. People say, well, what is it like? Man, well, Raven says, when I wake in my dream, I will ask astral entities, what is the year and date? And they don't know, since it is the fourth dimension. Yeah, Raven, time is really of no importance in the other realms. They really don't. Well, what I've seen, Raven, when your question is, how does the fifth dimension look? As best as I can say, it looks like that movie I told you about, because you can see all these things at the same time, and you can also understand them. It's like a total awareness, and if you have a question you want to ask, it's like it's right there. Now, I know people talk about it being the Akashic record and all that kind of thing. And Max, you're going to do remote viewing on Saturday? It's a group thing. Uh-huh. Yep. Yes, absolutely. Make you point. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So let me go on to this this next little position here about this. All right, thank you all very much, Max, Kaylee, Raven. Thank you all very much. Because you know there are folks who are definitely scared, and I would agree that right now is a very scary time if you're just now wanting to delve into this because so many critters have been called to this plane. And the fact that we, a lot of us, most of us, I would guess, are on that higher verge of the third dimension. And from what I'm understanding from the galactics, a lot of us are actually about halfway up fourth already. So it's like I was given some stuff the other day that I was like, yo, I mean, I'm seeing things now that on my highest mushroom LSD trip, you name it, in looking as a shaman to find these other realms, to see these and experience these other realms. And I've been experiencing something these last couple of days, well, actually the last several months, but to the point that even these last several days, it almost seemed like, and I was on last night with Milky Way Weekly, and Brian and I were talking about this before the show. And I said, Brian, I said, you know, the colors were a weird green the other day. Everything out my window, you know, looked wrong. The colors were off, you know, and it wasn't my brain, I swear. You know, I wasn't on anything, you know. I smoked 2 cigarettes and took a puff off a bowl. I'm sorry, but that's not going to make my outside world change colors in front of my eyes. The other thing is that literally seeing, like in a Star Trek movie where you see, especially the older ones, where you saw the when they go to put them in the transporter room, you see all the individual little dots and things. That's what I saw. And I was like, oh, holy crap. And it was like I was inside of this thing and I could see the dots around me. And then I was clumped back on my couch over here. And I was like, whoa, what just happened? And I realized that wherever I was, that I had to go in this realm, I still had to go pee. And so, and then it was like, boom, I was right. I don't even remember laying back down on the couch. You know, it's like, okay. And then I was off again. Now, somebody asked something about not remembering. It seems that because of my particular situation, my soul contract, there are things that I'm learning spiritually that in my soul contract says I can't bring back with me. The memories are there. I'm taught it. I understand it from here, from a gut feeling. And I look at other people struggling and I think to myself, you know, I kind of understood some of this years ago. And these folks are just starting to get here. And it's not that I'm better than somebody. I've just been on the planet longer. That's all. I'm 66. I can't help it. I've been on this journey all my life. Well, now, you know, the last 35 years, easy. But to the point, though, it's not that I'm better than someone else. It's that I just have more experience, period. That's all. So I see these folks who are old souls at this. And they're half my age in their 30s, some of them in their late 20s, some of them in their 40s. But to the point, though, it's like they were here before. Maybe even they've died during my lifetime and their spirit is back and they're going through this now. They know certain things and there is more awareness generally. And so folks who would maybe take them 50 years to learn, by the time they're 35, they're already there. Okay. These are what us old baby boomers would call, you know, the new group, you know, the blue-eyed, whatever you want to call it. They're the new group that came in to help us through this transition. Now, I would agree to that to a lot of ways. But because of all this electronics mess, because of all this spiritual warfare, which I'm sure we can all agree is going on, religious, political, you know, it's chaos out there, right? So we have to look at life. We have to look at the chaos and laugh at it. That's the big spiritual message that I'm getting right now, is to laugh at this chaos because it is a joke. And when you detach yourself from the chaos of the present, it will allow to reach further with your spirit and your astral body. Now, being being a present mind is the key. However you get there, and there are a lot of methods, and a lot of them are good. But what you basically need to be is believe in yourself. Just believe 100%. Okay. And it's not just me. We're all saying the same thing. We're all spiritual beings. We're all angels on this planet. And we just need to remember our angel self. So just be positive with that, and you're protected. I mean, it's like there. Now, if you go looking for trouble, shame on you. Try to stay in the light. I mean, there are dark images out there. And let me say this too. You're 35, by the way. Blessings, Raven. It's hard to believe that I'm like, that much older than you, but there are folks who are my age, have not a clue as what you folks half my age, and I mean that with respect. I do. You know more now at half the age of my peers or whatever, and that it's like they don't even care if they have a clue, which really scares me. Like, Dave, what the hell are you talking about? Why does it matter to me? Well, I'm sorry, but if you're 65 and plus, which a lot of my, boomer friends are, shouldn't you be thinking a little more of the spiritual? Just because, I never expected to live this long. Here I am. Now I've set my goals. I'm going to hit 85. I'm sticking around another 20 years, at least. That's my minimum goal, And I made that about 5 years ago. When I turned 60, I was like, hang on, people say, well, you lived to 66 or 7. I'm like, nah, no, I'm going to change my paradigm. No, that's only 5 years away. Hell no. So wait a minute, I'm going to live to at least 65. That's my minimum. So I reset my goals. But in the same tone, I also feel different. My hair quit turning as gray as it was. I mean, there are friends of mine who their hair is so gray, and it's like, yeah, okay. All right. And I think it was a point of view. I decided that, wait a minute, I'm 60 now. Ah, damn it, man. I'm going to live at least another 25 years. Screw this die in your 60s crap like a lot of my other family members did. So anyway, but being confident in that, in yourself, regardless of your age. Be confident in your spirit self. Be confident. Just believe. I am an angel trapped in this damn body. But I can go on vacation and go visit. All right. Now, let me go to another point. So you need to always do the clock image. Why? Because it keeps your car tuned. Okay. It's like, instead of just putting, regular in your car, you're putting premium in. Okay. So when you maintain that connection with the clock and the time, you're also putting yourself into a different time differential. You're going to find out that you are now have moved from just a 3D reality to a somewhere above it, because now you're dealing with telepathy, projection, da 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 on a higher plane, just by keeping in tune to what time is it by your clock. Okay. Next thing, that makes you more comfortable. So as you are comfortable with this, walk into the next room. Okay. Now, as you look at the clock, that's fine, because now you've got a mental picture of your clock and you're stuck there. I mean, I say stuck in the response that you've got it stuck in your memory now. You know where that location is. So the next step in this is to look at other things in the room. Now, my first thing would be to say, a lot of times investigators, police officers, you've watched the crime shows, they walk into a room and something catches their eye. All right, so this is what you want to do. You're sort of like when you walk into your bedroom or whatever room you choose to walk into where the clock is. This is just a suggestion, you know. So, but that you go into this room and you go, okay, I'm going into this room as a stranger. Okay, what catches my eye first? It's important because those are the things that your brain, if you try to think of, well, there's, I hung something on the doorknob, or there's a picture or a poster on the wall. Don't go there. You want to walk there in your spirit, look at the room from the spirit's point of view, and allow yourself to pick out certain key items. Now, you look for the clock, that's a focal. Then start out small. Pick one other item, or maybe two. Like, okay, what's the position of the curtain? Or where is the light on or off? Whatever it is, maybe there's a little desk lamp. Maybe there's something else in the room. Maybe there's something that you see in the room before you spot the clock. That's important because your first impression, those are the keys that are going to tell you whether or not you're really there, or if you're imagining that you're there. Your subconscious will dream that you're in the room, because here's the trick. You've walked into now that room so many times, your subconscious knows where every damn thing is. You know where it all is. So in your physical body, when you walk in, it's already there. It's in the back of your mind. Oh, I wonder where I laid that pen. Ding. Subconscious tunes in, says, here you go. Okay. Or not, in my case. Oh, I'll look for 3 days for a damn. Anyway. So, but you get the idea. Okay. So, but this is a further thinking. Your subconscious is recording stuff you ain't got no clue. And I speak from extreme experience on this, and I want to clarify, and you need to really understand this. When you experience something in another realm, it's being recorded, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you understand it or not. There is a tag, like on a video or on you know what I mean? Tagging a video. So there's a tag, and the whole memory might not be there, but the tag will be there so you can reference the memory. Now, I've been remembering things here this last 2 weeks that are like in the 70s when I was on acid, drunk all the time, pot smoking, hippie, you know. There are things I'm remembering now that's like, wait a minute, that didn't really have any relevance of now, but things that I hadn't thought of or forgotten or whatever, oh my God, I'm having like full-blown memories of this stuff. Well, that's from the galactic. We are all going back through our own timelines. It's like a kaleidoscope. I'm using this word again. A kaleidoscope of pictures. It's like the old Rolodex in the old days. A picture of this, a picture of this, a picture of this. And by picture, I mean basically a memory, a tag, a snapshot of a video, and that's something that happened in your life, whatever it may be. Now, why am I saying this and why is this important? Because these things will come out when you're in your astral self, because it is a direct link to the subconscious as well. You're bridging the conscious and the subconscious together. So these tips of walking to the next room, looking at the clock, picking out 4 or 5 objects, and then you expand upon that. Why is this necessary? It's because your brain already has a picture of what it looks like. It will replay it for you, and you'll think you're there. So you have to be able to distinguish between the two, all right? So by walking in your mind into the next room, notice it. Now look at the clock. Now in your spirit body, you go back to your place of rest. Then you bring yourself awake, and then you walk it physically, as you just did in your spirit dream, in your astral self. So you walk into the next room, open the door or whatever, and look at those same objects. Did the same 2 or 3 things pop out at you? Don't think about it. Just look at it. There's the drape. There's the lamp. there's the table, there's the clock. Bam, that's all you need. Okay. But you get a quick pick and then you're out. All right. A little snapshot, little, little tiny little thing. Okay. You're tagging your brain. But when you walk back in there, it's a now tag. It's not a memory that you created or that's being subjected back up to you because you just walked in there. You just tagged it. And now you're walking back in there to make sure that what you saw in your wake state, whoops, whatever I saw in my mind, that ain't it. Oh, well, okay, I missed. You might not get anything on your first couple of tries, but that's the whole point of this, doing it. I forgot the word, participation, but because you wish to see it, not remember it from your subconscious. Now, as you see it, it will go into your subconscious, but just understand that this subconscious thing is sort of like Google, sort of like Facebook, if you will. They're always listening. It's being put out there. It's the big AI, if you will. So each of us are like this. We're each like Googles, if you will, so that everything that we do or have done has been stuck in our into our subconscious. But in our subconscious is how we can reach the astral. It's connected. I mean, how do you look at your brain and you go, I can't take part of it out. And wait, no, it's the whole thing. But there is the sub and then there's the conscious. So now you're going to bridge the gap between the two, doing these simple exercises. So the next thing is, how many objects can you get right in the next room? And you should try it 2 or 3 times. Sit down. Don't make it a long thing. It's a practice. It's for fun. The kids are gone. The husband or the wife is out bowling or shooting pool, whatever the thing. And you got an hour. Calm down, have a little fun, go into the next room in your mind, Now, as you start realizing, holy crap, I'm in the room. This is not a picture any longer. That's going to give you an oh shit moment. I'm sorry, but it is. When you are standing there and you go, this ain't a picture. Oh shit. It just is. I think everybody goes through it at some point. Oh, this is a dream. Oh, no, this is an oh shit moment. I'm really here. Okay. So now you want to progress it. Get comfortable. Do different rooms in the house. This is for practice. It's also to be comfortable. It's also to, build your confidence and all this stuff. And you say, well, David, this sounds like horse crumb. It's not. It really works because this is how I help to stop being fearful. Okay. A lot of fear in my area of the world, spiritual, otherwise, blah, blah, blah. And as part of my soul contract, I have been told that I'm learning things in the subconscious on the astral, but at the moment, I'm not allowed to remember it all because it would make me bat crap cray cray. Too much information, too much stuff, too much chaos, but they're teaching me on my spiritual level. So I have the knowledge and I can feel the difference. I mean, I got it. I understand some things better. I'm able to explain certain things now, but I had to be quiet to hear it. I had to be quiet and listen to myself to be able to say, okay, well, this is what it's about. Now, continuing on a little bit with the astral thing. So you want to pick one room, and pick the same thing. You're going, well, you're going to imprint your brain, and that imprint's going to be a movie that plays all the time. So how do you know you're really there? Because every time you do this, you're going to look for something different. So you look at the clock first time, 2 or 3 other items. Now, as you get comfortable in this, you're going to walk into the room and you're going to look around. It's not going to be what you first see when your first glance. I see that, and that. Nope. Now you're going to take a step into the room and you're going to spin. And you're going to notice that and that. And oh, holy crap, I didn't know there's a dirty spot on the wall where I killed a mosquito the other night and there's blood there. Oh my God, I should whatever it is, you're going to notice something different. And that's going to be your reality, because the next trick is to trick your brain. So the things, move the clock slightly. In other words, if it's facing your bed so that you can see it when you're laying in bed, turn the clock so where if you were in bed, you'd have to get up and look at the clock. Why is this different? Because your brain in your subconscious will remember the clock's always like this. If you move the clock on purpose and then you go into your dream state, you go into your astral body, this is how you check if it's real. Okay? You've moved an item, or maybe you've added an item. Is that item there when you walk into the room? Or is it what your subconscious is replaying for you? Okay? So this is how you check yourself. Now, you practice with one room, but okay, practice with it, but you'll get so much in tune to just that room that you won't be able to go anywhere else. You kind of get stuck. So, but that's a practice. So as you get comfortable, pick another room. Why? Because you don't want to just stick with one place. You want to learn how to move about. Stay in the house. Stay in the house. Don't venture outside yet. Stay in the house. Why? Because you're safe there, okay? And if any kind of weird crap goes down, you're only in this far away. But to the point, seriously, it gives you a sense of comfort. And until you can learn to go to different rooms, walk through the house and go, oh, you know, and then later on when you get really good, you can move something in the other room. So when you wake up, you go, damn, I put my keys right here and they've been moved over. Whatever. That's the really fun part later on, okay? But if you follow these simple techniques, you will reach a portion of understanding. You will reach an understanding within your own brain that there's so much else to this, quote, reality that we're in this 3 dimensions / lower fourth. And I do believe we are in the lower fourth, because too many things are being seen by regular folk. And not only the Mandela effect type of things, but they're seeing people from other dimensions, like coming down the street. They walk by their house and then it's like they turn the corner, but they've never seen these people before. They don't live in the neighborhood. There's only 8 houses in the neighborhood and everybody knows each other. And there are people walking through these neighborhoods that have never been there before, that don't live there. That, I mean, it's just like, what? And it's like our parallel dimensions are overlapping. Now, the galactics, the higher beings, had said that back in 2012, this is a little history lesson, I've said this before, but that the Mayans discussed the end. The end was the fact that the bad guys, the cabal folks, whoever you know, go, whatever you wish to call them, but they're just the opposite. They're the bad guys. Leave it at that. Their motive was to change the timelines because things weren't going the way they wanted them to go. Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. I mean, these are real things. All right. So most of us know about these. And if you don't, please check. But to the point, though, their plan wasn't going the way they wanted it to. It wasn't going fast enough. The plan had been thwarted because people were starting to wake up too much. Hang on, internet was supposed to bring people down. And what it did was it brought a lot of us together who would never, ever have met under different circumstances. I would not be able to speak to you about this thing across the web or across the world. It's wonderful, wonderful. So, but with this, though, so in 2012, though, these weirdos messed the timeline. They fractured the timeline. So the Mandela effect became more noticeable. Other things became more noticeable. A lot of us who were like going along okie dokie, suddenly were fractured and sent into this world where all these other things were like, wait a minute, where'd all these evil spirits come from? Yeah, there were negative entities, but it's like we got invaded by dark forces from other realms and places that weren't here before. They were allowed into our realm, if you will, this planet realm. All right. So we've had to deal with that, battle them. We're still at it. However, we've got the upper hand. We actually do. And I think a lot of us can feel that there's been a certain amount of negative pressure that's been lifted. Now, it ain't gone, but the chaos continues. However, there are a lot of us, and I keep speaking on this, laugh at the chaos. When the news comes up tomorrow that some crazy something, and I don't mean laugh at people dying. That's not what I mean. I mean, laugh at the chaos. These crazy people are trying to do this. They're still at it. Oh my God, how crazy are these people that they're doing the same thing over and over, trying to get the same results? They're mentally ill. They're crazy. They're nuts. And once you start realizing that, you look at the news the next day and you go, oh crap, they're still at it. What the hell are they up to? And laugh at these idiots, because that's what they are. And they're going to think that they're going to make us swallow more of this crap. So when you deny swallowing anything in and you start projecting out, these people are nuts. They're crazy, you know, and you don't necessarily have to say it out loud to people, but in your own head, believe it, because it is. This chaos is being created. When you understand that it's being created, you can deal with it better. You can take self-control and go, these people are creating this stuff on purpose just to piss me off. Well, when you can either continue to be pissed off, or you can take the higher road and go, oops, I see your game. Not anymore. I'm not playing into your chaos. I see it, but I'm not going to accept your chaos. You're going to try, but... And what does that do? As you do these astral simple techniques, as your brain understands that you can tell time within the second or within a minute of the thinking of it and walking into the next room and checking the time. I mean, that's what you should do, by the way. I think I left that out. But yeah, when you go into the room and you look at the clock, then when you go back in, you know, you have to get up physically and walk in there in the 3D world and go, okay, how close was I to the time on the clock? And the best thing is do this. Don't look at the clock and go, well, it's 12:15. No, try to stay away from imagining what it says to what does it say? What is it actually telling me? Okay. It's very important, but once you get this sense of reality in yourself, it won't go away. You'll get rusty at it, but it won't go away. Once you see it, once you hear it, once you feel that vibration, once you can see that clock in your mind's eye and go, holy crap, you know, I was right. Within 2 minutes, I was, you know. And that gives you a different kind of confidence. It's exponential, all right? I can go on and on about this, but to the point, try it if you haven't. Now, if other people have different methods, fine. And I'm not discounting them. But this is a tried and true by many people over the last 50 years. Because I was about 17 when I found this paperback book back then. And then I had teachers and other... Anyway, but so to the point, though, this is a very trusted method, all right? And it will give you good grounding. Stay in the positive. If you go into this and you go, well, I don't know, maybe something's going to get... Stop right there. Because if you go in with doubt, you're going to smell like the raw meat thing. You know, you're going to smell real. It's like fried chicken time, you know, you're next to the Colonel or Church's Fried. Oh my God, they're baking biscuits, you know. In Thomasville, near where I live here, they have Flowers Bakery. And when I worked at the theater all the time in the late night, early morning, they were baking the fresh bread. And all of downtown Thomasville smells like a fresh loaf of bread for hours. It's great. You just stand outside and go, ah, you know, anyway. But so it's like that. So, all right, let me put my glasses on and read comments for a minute, because Uh, hang on there. Kaylee, you were attacked. That's a very bad thing. Um, Howl at the Moon. Yeah, it's almost. Hey Milky, I don't know if you're still here, but hi there. I've watched the tail end of your thing, and I'm doing this not because I thought what was happening on your show, Brian, was anything. In fact, I didn't see it all, but this was on my brain, and I had to get it out. So this was in no way related to other folks. Now, bringing up colors, there was something that um, yeah, you start off with ignore all your mind distractions and start with a clean canvas so you can see the target. That's very good, Max. That's absolutely true. Um, I have photos when I was attacked in 2012. I'll have to email them to me. Yes. I've seen some other things too. I mean, um, like the other day, it was really interesting um, that me practicing my shamanism down here at my place. I got 18 acres in the country on the river, and um, what was told to me by another shaman was that we had generated so much light intensity that it literally sent out a beacon up into space for all negative energies. Like, whoa, there's a party going on. Let's go see if we can get ourselves in. So it's like, oh, well, crap, you know? So you can be so bright that it attracts the negatives rather than repel them. So at the same time, though, if that white light energy of you is positively charged, they might see you, but they can't get to you. So you understand that there are degrees to this. That's why I say, hang around your house while you're doing this, and maybe lit some incense so that you have a sense of smell. So even if you're in your astral world walking into the next room or something, in that sense of smell will help keep you grounded until you become more comfortable at projecting or astral projecting. Now, I would also say this too. In projecting yourself and looking are two different things, in my opinion. Okay. Because I have seen things looking through a window as a picture, but I have not been there. Now, to be on the beach and feel the water brush up, when waves are coming in, that's a totally different thing, in my opinion. Now, remote viewers, I give a lot of them lots of credit, but here's the thing. It's what they saw. Now, in any moment, that could change. Not to saying that they're false, what they report or what they see. My point is there are so many different dimensions and so many timelines and everything going on right now. It would be easy to see a parallel that were almost identical, but not quite. Okay. So when folks question some of these remote viewers, I mean, I saw things in the spring of 2013 that are still coming true. What I had wrong was the time that these things are going to happen. And it's like, okay. But the galactics say, hey, time is relevant or irrelevant. And that's what I want to bring up to kind of wrap up this thing about why the clock. What does that have to do with time? Because here's simply is. Time is relative, only to our position in this 3D. Okay, let me say that again very calmly. Let that sink in a second. Time is only relevant to our own position. So the clock that you look at, check the time, that's in your own reality and place. It doesn't exist anywhere else. Because if you go to a different time zone, it's not the same time. So all around the world, you might have a time zone that's the same. But if I live here in South Georgia, close to the Alabama line, I'm closer to Central Time versus somebody who lives on the coast. And you say, well, what difference does that make? There's a time difference. None of us are in the same time. Even though our clocks might match, if you're on the East Coast and I'm on the Alabama border, you're going to see the sunset sooner than me, or rise sooner than me. You're just that much closer. It is a matter of fact. Okay, flat earthers, sorry, but we're going to stick with the round globe thing. But okay, I still love you. But my point is that even on a flat earth, as they say that the earth and the sun, okay, fine. Whoever's getting the light at this particular moment ain't getting it over here. So that the time is relative only to us at that time, meaning wherever you are. If you're in your easy chair and practicing this, okay, fine. But to the next point is that sets you in a point in time, so that if you get scared of where you are, you have your set point. You're always connected to your clock. Now, it's only relative to you, but that's important because it keeps you from getting snagged into another timeline. Important. Why is the clock important? Now that we're going into this next phase, this is what it means. Okay, so now you're attached in time to a particular point in time, and this is where your spiritual reference will maintain. The next thing is then you will realize, even though now that your anchor, that's a good one, it's your anchor point. Now that you understand your anchor point and that you are connected to this time, you can explore what other times would be. Now, I say this like this. Say you want to go to Greece and it's evening time in your world in Missouri, okay? I just picked a place. Now, so in your mind, you're going, okay, I saw a picture of a beach off the coast, Greece, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. Hold that thought. I want to project my mind to this place. I see it. There's a villa on the mountain, blah, blah, blah. I want to see if I can go there. All right. The first thing you do is you say, okay, picture it in your mind. Look at the picture. Look at where your destination is. Okay. Clear canvas, nothing else. Try to clear, you got to get rid of all the other crap. That's like a given. If you're wondering if the kids are going to be, late for school in the morning or whatever, you're really not attached to where you need to be going. Anyway, meaning the frequency. So you picture this place, never been there. You want to see if you can go there. Okay, fine. The first thing you do is, what time of day is it? Or night? If it's supposed to be daytime and you get there and it's dark, you're in the wrong spot. Or you're in the wrong time. You might be, I'm just going to throw this out there, 9 o'clock Central, and you want to go to Greece, your mind will think it's 9 o'clock there at night as well. So in your reality, you're dragging your time zone with you into the astral. Why is this important? Because then the next thing to be able to prove to yourself is, hang on, it's supposed to be 5 o'clock in the afternoon or morning or whatever. It's supposed to be daylight. Oh, so you first get the picture. Then the first thing you check is daylight or nighttime. Is it relative? And where you go, can I find a clock? So picture a place and then look to see a clock. What time is it there? That's another way to test. Okay. So these are all tips to how to get there. You perfect it as you go, you get more confident with yourself. And I'm really kind of speaking a little bit esoterically, yada, yada, around the edges, because it's really kind of hard to describe what actually takes place. Now, what happened to me is at some point, with all of the head concussions that I have, I don't see as many things in color. I'm seeing them through a black and white veil, but I see them. It's like the color sensor got knocked out. So it's like watching a black and white television. Now I can tell that it's day or night by the lighter gray, darker gray, but to the point, the colors aren't coming in. And I simply believe that it's my own personal, 25 head concussions. Okay. It's my fault. I still see these things. And now though, I'm getting the colors back. So a couple of things about this before I wrap this up. One is, I think that part of this is that I'm not supposed to remember in color, because the colors in 2013 were so vivid. I was like puking, and it was horrible. Okay. I don't mean to be graphic, but it was worse than that. So, but at the same time, so they're like trying to save me a little bit from the gory graphic, some of the stuff. Now, the really good, happy green, valleys, blah, 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 that's different. I see them in color. And I can understand that it seems like another dimension. I wake up here and I can still taste the water in my mouth that I was drinking seconds before in this other realm. It's not just a dream. And I've had all these years of like experience. Well, that was a dream, but no, when you can still taste the cornbread in your mouth, I mean, and you got crumbs on your chin, you go, where the hell did this come from? I mean, okay, but that's now. So I think because of the prison planet, because of all the negatives and all the CERNs and the this and the magnets and the 5G, all of this stuff combined has kept many of us from seeing the true reality, because our astral bodies have been bounced off of the ionosphere, if you will. We're hitting the chemtrails and can't get out. I haven't, it took me a couple of years to finally be able to see the Earth from space again, which I was like, wait a minute, who locked me onto the planet? So, but anyway, so recently, very recently, and I've had some other people describe being in a similar type of craft. I have been in some kind of spacecraft, and I was like the pilot or something. And it's like, it was the coolest, but creepiest, but weirdest, but neat, but all of the above. And I'm like, I always imagined as a kid, I grew up with Sputnik. We went outside and watched Sputnik go over. You could hear it on an AM radio at the right frequency back in the 58, 59. I grew up in the space age. But to imagine myself in some kind of star fighter thingy, whatever it was I was in, I've never had that experience. I've never tried to imagine it. I've watched movies, I've seen it and thought, yeah, that was cool. Wouldn't it be neat? But to have actually like had my hands on the control and wake up and have to go take to the bathroom and realize that in my half awakenedness, I can still feel my hands on the controls and go, holy crap, this is weird. But other people are having that same feeling, and from across the world. And it's like, well, okie dokie. Now, I'm not trying to convince you that I'm in a starfighter, but I'm here to tell you that whatever is going on in my astral body, many of us are pulling double duty. This is like an avatar body. And that now that these things are being opened and the frequencies are being opened, the Lion's Gate, all of the above. And here we're going into another full moon. Happy duty. Oh, hallelujah. But I always do better on a full moon anyway. But the fact is that our memories are being silenced. Why can't I remember what just happened? I just walked out of this room and now I'm sitting here. I got to go to the toilet. Okay, this is common. Yeah, but I was just somewhere and I can still smell the room. Or, I mean, it's very palatable. I think that many of us have been told we're going to class. Many folks have said they feel like when they wake up, they're more tired than when they went to bed because we're going to class in the astral. There are things about the fourth dimension we need to understand. That is like a like in the Federation of Star Trek. It's like we're learning uh, the prime rules, you know, the prime directive. Okay, number one, harm no being, harm no other being. Now that means an ant, a roach, a spider, harm no other being. How many of us, I mean, I consider myself to be very friendly with Mother Nature, but you know, a cockroach still freaks me out. And a spider, if it gets too close, now they've all been warned, you know, stay out of my territory, but that's not the point. You know, and it's like I have a real hard time not smashing that great big spider that's like right there, you know. But I understand also that he has a right to be on this planet just like I do, you know. And it's like, but it's a spider. Yeah, I know. And I've been terrified of spiders ever since I was a kid. But until you can understand that harm no other being, none, none of them. You know, even if it bites you, it's like, well, you know, but you know, do you put yourself in a position where you could I mean, so there are a lot of other things. But the thing is that do you have the concept of harm no other being? Well, that means hate and anger and, you know, and so there are a lot of folks, we talked about it last night with Brian on Milky Way Weekly, in that their anger, we're all on the same road, but different people are on further and further along the road. Is like, I hate to use that term, but it's kind of sort of true in that at least you can see where the horizon is. You can see that there is a future. You understand that there is something beyond this little hill we're climbing. Okay. You're not just seeing the road. You can see just above it, or you can perceive that there is a whole new world just beyond this little hill crest. Might not be able to see the road itself, but you know that it goes over the road. It probably doesn't just end like a flat earth, but anyway, that's a small joke. But so why is this important? It's important in our own realities. Can you harm another thing? You know, do you go out of your way? I mean, you know, back when my hearing was really good, a mosquito on the other side of the room, it would drive me nuts. I couldn't go to sleep until all the mosquitoes were killed in the room. You know, I mean, till 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like killing, you know, anyway. Thank goodness at old age, and the constant ringing in my ears, I can't hear them unless they're really close. But to the point, though, at that time, the buzzing annoyed me, and I had no idea. It's a mosquito. It deserves to die. Wait a minute. Well, my frequency is wrong right there because I'm attacking this individual. Now I tell them, you get near me, if you bite me, all bets are off. But now I don't go looking to kill them. Okay. Big difference in frequency. So, you know, it's like some people are like, I gotta kill all the roaches in my house. Well, but you know, in certain, and I'm not meaning that, you know, oh my God, you live in a dirty house. Roaches have been here for 1 billion years. You're not going to get rid of them, but you can avoid them. Trying to kill them isn't the way. You distract them. You use something else, and rather than trying to kill every single one of them, because the more you try to kill them, the more they're going to come. It's like a reverse osmosis kind of weird thing. And I say that because there are repellents like borax. It's $4 a box at the store at Walmart for like a 2-pound, 3-pound box borax, the old 20 mule team borax. Sprinkle that around your house outside, because where did the bugs come from? Outside or under your house. The borax works like the other roach killer kind of stuff, but it's a lot cheaper because for $4 you get this humongous, and it's a cleanser. You know, you can eat the stuff. You know, it's not going to kill any animals, but it's going to repel roaches. And if the roaches get on it and lick their little feetsies, they're a good possibility they're going to expire. But that's their problem. It's a natural repellent, retardant. So it's a soap. So when you get done with this stuff on your counter, it's not going to kill anything except it's going to retard these insects. It works on ants, all kind of. So my point is that there are things you can do that aren't poisonous that will repel the critters that you don't necessarily like. You can also set out crystals and other things. You can say prayers. I mean, there's a lot of things that work without trying to kill. Okay. Yeah, I don't like mosquitoes, and if they bite me, I'm going to slap them. That's a natural human reaction. But I don't go outside trying to kill every mosquito outside. So that if people in this third dimension, now there's a lot of people who are understanding, like, well, yeah, this one. But if you don't understand that a rock can have a sentient being inside, when you think, grass doesn't matter, this doesn't matter, you know, if you've got that kind of attitude, it's like my rant about plastic. If you think you're going to have a higher vibration and continue to use plastic, then you don't care. So that's one part of the learning process in this. Because a plastic is going to break down and it's going to harm the other organisms. It's harming each of us. Okay, not going on the plastic rant, but to the point though, do you care? Do you wish to change? If you're still doing these things, obviously you don't. I'm not shaming on, no, I'm not going to go shame on you. I'm just going to say, hey, are you paying attention to your own spirit? Have you reached that level where you say, oh, crap, man, I get the big picture. It's bigger than just one plastic bottle. It's what this plastic bottle means in the big scheme. When you take one plastic bottle out, and every time you do, I mean, it's like, but it brings you to another level of understanding. Harm no other being. How many of us can actually do that? How many? And that's like kindergarten stuff, okay, to get into this next realm. So people who I've listened to a lot of people, and I still will, but I hear some of these people discussing this. Oh, the fourth dimension and how far along they are. And they're like swatting mosquitoes and they got bug spray on the back wall. And I'm like, wait a minute. You don't even have the basic requirements down from what they're saying. Not what I'm saying. It ain't got nothing to do with me other than I'm on the same journey. And I'm looking at this going, wait a minute now, hang on. So if somebody's like, well, yeah, well, this is all spiritual and stuff. Yeah, well, yeah, but have you harmed anything in the process of what you're discussing? Have you looked at what your actions have done? You say, well, yeah, well, I just drink water out of a plastic bottle. Yeah, but do you understand what that does down the road and what it has done? How many bottles are in the Pacific Ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean, in the Gulf of Mexico? I mean, and other bottles of water, bodies of water. But to the point, what's another one? Then you don't care. Your frequency isn't going to match. So you're going to have to go to school about this. You're going to have to learn. Everything we do has consequence. Everything we do has consequences. And when we realize that we are affecting our timeline, we are affecting other timelines, actually, with some of the crazy crap we do. But to the point, though, when you understand this thing, this philosophy, you're going to understand other things as well. Because you're not getting into it ain't my rule, by the way. It's their rule. Harm no other being. Work on that one. Harm no other being. Well, what about the ghost out there? What about the jinn? What about the harm no other being? That is what's important. So with that, and that's kindergarten, 4th level kindergarten. All right, y'all got to go. I'm wrapping this up. Does the include self-created worlds? Yes. And the self-created worlds are a combination. Let's see, who said that? Max. I believe so because there are so many things that are in our subconscious that, and they could actually be realities, okay? But they're not this reality. We don't wake up to that one, but it's in our subconscious. Well, if it's in our subconscious, where'd it come from? How'd we get it? Did somebody insert it? Is it us? Is it from a previous life? Did we go somewhere and bring that information back? So if it's, even if we make it up, we had to make it up with something. I've got a vivid imagination, but I never dreamed of being inside this starship thingy. All right. And I was like, holy crap. But to the point, though, I guess my brain had enough information. It could have created that situation. There are other dreams and things. Okay, but it was so absolutely perfectly different from all the other dreams and other things I've experienced. That's what makes me say I felt like I was in this thing. All right. So, and what does this do? I've got all these memories of all these sci-fi movies I've watched. And so that could trigger my imagination to create a situation that I would believe or that you would believe. So, but at the same time, where did we get the information originally? So our thought, we could have already been there, already experienced it, and now it's coming back around. So our subconscious is very powerful. It says a lot of stuff. Good night. Everybody's already gone. Okay. Kaylee, so much. And I'm going to pretty much wrap this up. I pretty much said what I wanted to. And from your remarks, I hope this made some sense. And, you know, it's a lot easier than some people claim. But at the same time, take the steps, take the time, because it's going to give you so much confidence and so much grounding and just a bunch of other things that just comes with it. It's just the awareness, I guess. So with that, I leave you with blessings and a short prayer, a short little tiny little meditation of that. I accept and receive all the blessings. This is what I'm saying for you. You accept all the blessings of the Creator, all of the blessings of the cosmos, all of the teachings, all of the energies, so that we will all understand that we are brothers and sisters together in this. We are all on the same journey. We are all on basically the same path. So, with that, spread the love, spread the compassion, be kind to one another, and I'll see you on the flip side. So, love to you all. Sleep well.